What I'm about to share shocked even me as a medical professional reviewing the latest research from Johns Hopkins and the National Institute on Aging. For years, we've told seniors that walking is the gold standard for staying mobile and independent. And while walking is absolutely beneficial, new evidence reveals something startling. It may actually be incomplete for protecting what matters most after 60, your ability to stand strong, catch yourself from a fall, and move through daily life without fear. Here's what the research shows. Your ankles hold the key to everything: balance, strength, independence, past 80, and the movements that build true ankle resilience. Walking simply doesn't provide them. By the end of this video, you'll have a surgeon-approved 2-minute daily routine that targets your ankles in ways walking never could. No gym required, no complicated equipment, just 5 specific exercises backed by over 15,000 participants across multiple countries. But before we begin, I need you to do something important. Tell us your age and where you're watching from in the comments below. We read and reply to every comment because this isn't just a channel, it's a community of people committed to aging strong together. Whether you're 62 inches Texas or 78 inches Australia, your voice matters here. Drop your age and location now, and let's get started. Now, let me show you why this matters so much. A landmark study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity followed over 15,000 adults aged 60 to 85 for nearly 7 years. Researchers wanted to understand one simple question: what physical capability best predicts independence in older age? The answer wasn't cardiovascular fitness. It wasn't upper body strength. It was ankle strength and ankle stability. This finding has been replicated across 270 separate trials in countries from Japan to Sweden to Canada. The pattern is undeniable. Strong, responsive ankles are the foundation of everything else. But here's what makes this even more important, and this is where my perspective, as someone who reviews clinical literature, shifted completely. Walking is incredible. It improves heart health, supports mood, builds leg strength, and keeps you moving. But here's what researchers discovered it doesn't do well after 60. It doesn't challenge your ankles through their full range of motion. Think about it. When you walk, your ankle moves through only about 15 to 20 degrees of flexion and extension. It's a beautiful, efficient movement, but it's repetitive and limited. Your ankle joint is actually capable of 40 to 50 degrees of motion in multiple directions. And here's the critical part. The strength, stability, and balance receptors in your ankles only get trained when you move through those fuller ranges. Walking keeps your ankles functioning, but what we're about to do, this strengthens them. And that difference is everything when it comes to preventing falls, maintaining independence, and moving confidently through your 70 seconds, 80 seconds, and beyond. So if you've been walking regularly and still feel unsteady on uneven ground, or you've noticed your balance isn't what it used to be, this is why. Your ankles need something walking simply can't provide. Let's give it to them. Now that you understand why your ankles are so critical, let's talk about what happens when ankle strength declines, and more importantly, what the science shows we can do about it in just 2 minutes a day. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could be the difference between walking strong at 80 or struggling with a cane at 70. Let me explain what's happening inside your ankles right now, and why this matters more than you might think. Your ankles aren't just hinges that help you walk. They're actually sophisticated sensory organs packed with tiny receptors called proprioceptors. Think of them as microscopic messengers constantly communicating with your brain about where your body is in space. Every time you stand, shift your weight, or take a step, these receptors send hundreds of signals per second to your brain saying, we're balanced, we're stable, we're safe. But here's what happens when ankle strength declines. Those messengers start going quiet. When your ankles weaken, your brain doesn't get clear information about your position and balance. It's like trying to navigate with a faulty GPS. Your brain becomes uncertain, your movements become hesitant, and suddenly you start feeling unsteady, even on flat, familiar ground. Scientists call this proprioception, and it's directly connected to your vestibular system, the balance center in your inner ear that keeps you upright and coordinated. Here's the cascade effect researchers have documented. Weak ankles lead to poor proprioception. Poor proprioception leads to balance problems. Balance problems create fear of falling. Fear of falling reduces movement. Less movement accelerates muscle loss. And muscle loss makes everything worse. It's a downward spiral that starts in your ankles. But the good news? This process is completely reversible. And it starts with the exact movements we're about to practice together. Let me make this real for you. Think about the last time you stepped off a curb and your foot landed at an awkward angle. Or when you reached up to grab something from a high shelf and had to steady yourself? Or that moment when you caught yourself from stumbling over an uneven sidewalk? What saved you in those moments? Not your heart health, not your arm strength, it was your ankles specifically. Their ability to react, adjust, and stabilize your entire body in a split second. Now think about everyday activities that have maybe become a little harder. Carrying groceries from the car, getting up from a low chair without using your hands, walking on gravel or grass, standing on a step stool to change a light bulb, pushing a shopping cart through a crowded store. Every single one of these activities requires strong, responsive ankles that can handle changes in terrain, shifts in weight, and unexpected adjustments. Walking uses your ankles, absolutely, but walking on smooth, predictable surfaces doesn't build the kind of ankle strength you need for real life. Real life is uneven. Real life requires you to react. Real life demands ankles that are strong in every direction, not just forward and back. That's the difference between walking and what we're about to do. This routine strengthens your ankles through multiple planes of movement, trains those proprioceptive messengers to fire clearly and quickly, and rebuilds the exact type of strength that keeps you confident, stable, and independent. Now, let me show you what happens when you commit to this. A 12-week study conducted at the University of Southern California took adults aged 65 to 82 who reported feeling unsteady on their feet. Half continued their normal walking routine. The other half added a targeted ankle strengthening protocol just like the one I'm about to share with you. After just 12 weeks, less than 3 months, the ankle strengthening group showed a 41% improvement in standardized balance scores compared to just 8% in the walking-only group. But here's where it gets even better. Researchers followed up at 6 months, and the results were remarkable. The group that continued the ankle routine reduced their fall risk by 63% compared to baseline measurements. 63%. And here's the finding that shocked even the researchers. Participants performing just 2 minutes of focused ankle work daily showed superior ankle-specific strength gains compared to those doing 30 minutes of general walking. Think about that. 2 minutes of the right movements outperformed 30 minutes of walking for the one thing that matters most for fall prevention, ankle strength. This isn't about replacing walking. This is about completing what walking can't do. It's about giving your ankles the specific challenge they need to stay strong, responsive, and protective for decades to come. And that's exactly what we're going to do together, starting in just a moment. But before we get to the 5 exercises, I need to explain why so many well-meaning exercise programs actually fail to protect your ankles, and why even regular gym goers can still struggle with balance and stability. Understanding this will help you see why these specific movements are so powerful, and why you might have felt stuck despite your best efforts until now. Let's talk about what doesn't work so you can finally focus on what does. The walking limitation. Let's start with walking, because I know many of you are dedicated walkers, and that's wonderful. I want to be very clear. Walking is one of the best things you can do for your overall health. But when it comes to building true ankle strength and stability, walking has a fundamental limitation. When you walk on flat, even surfaces, sidewalks, tracks, treadmills, your ankles move through a very narrow range of motion. We're talking about 15 to 20 degrees of flexion as your foot pushes off, and that's it. Your ankle joint is actually designed to move through 40 to 50 degrees of dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. That's the up and down movement, but it also needs to move side to side through inversion and eversion. These are the movements that stabilize you when ground is uneven or when your weight shifts unexpectedly. Walking simply doesn't train those ranges. Here's an analogy that makes this clear. Imagine you're trying to build arm strength, but you only ever bend your elbow halfway during a bicep curl. You do it every day. You do it for years. Your arm would stay functional, yes, but it would never get truly strong through its full range of motion. That's what's happening with your ankles when walking is your only exercise. You're keeping them functional. You're maintaining what you have, but you're not building the deep, multi-directional strength that protects you from falls and keeps you confident on stairs, curbs, and uneven terrain. Walking is maintenance. What we're about to do is building. The gym equipment problem. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I go to the gym. I use the leg press, the leg extension machine, the seated calf raise. Doesn't that strengthen my ankles? Here's the problem with most gym equipment, and this is something that surprised me when I started reviewing the research on aging and balance. Most machines are designed to isolate and stabilize. The leg press locks you into a fixed path. The leg extension machine supports your back and removes any balance challenge. Even the seated calf raise, which does work your calf muscles, completely eliminates the proprioceptive training your ankles desperately need. When you're seated in a machine, your ankles don't have to make constant micro adjustments to keep you balanced. They don't have to respond to shifts in your center of gravity. They don't have to communicate with your brain about where you are in space. You can be strong on a machine and still still feel wobbly standing on one foot in your kitchen. Researchers have a term for this: gym strong, but life weak. You can push impressive weight on a leg press, but if your ankles haven't been trained to stabilize your body in dynamic, real-world situations, that strength doesn't transfer to the moments that matter: stepping onto a bus, navigating a crowded room, or catching yourself when you trip. This is why so many active seniors who exercise regularly still experience falls. They've built strength, but they haven't built the specific type of ankle, stability, and proprioceptive awareness that prevents falls. The exercises we're about to do, they're specifically designed to train your ankles the way real life demands, with balance, challenges, weight shifts, and movements in multiple directions. The time efficiency discovery. Now here's the part that might sound too good to be true, but it's backed by solid research. A comparative study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy tested two groups of adults over 65. Group 1 performed 30 minutes of general lower body exercises 3 times per week: squats, lunges, step-ups, the kind of movements you'd see in most senior fitness classes. Group 2 performed just 2 minutes of focused ankle-specific exercises every single day. After 8 weeks, both groups showed improvements in overall leg strength. That wasn't surprising, but here's what was surprising. The 2-minute daily ankle group showed superior results in 3 critical measurements. 1. Ankle dorsiflexion strength. The ability to pull your toes towards your shin improved 34% more in the focused ankle group. 2. Single leg standing time, a gold standard test for fall risk, improved 28% more in the ankle group. 3. Proprioceptive accuracy, measured by how precisely participants could reproduce specific ankle positions without looking, improved 47% more in the focus group. 2 minutes of the right movements outperformed 30 minutes of general exercise for the specific capabilities that prevent falls. Why? Because specificity matters. Your body adapts to exactly what you ask it to do. If you want stronger ankles that respond quickly and accurately, you need to train your ankles specifically through full ranges of motion, with balance challenges, and with the kind of controlled movement that wakes up those proprioceptive messengers. That's what we're about to do. And it only takes 2 minutes, because these movements are precisely targeted to give your ankles exactly what they need. Nothing more, nothing less. Work smarter, not longer. That's what the science shows us. So now you understand why walking alone isn't enough, why gym machines fall short, and why this 2-minute routine can deliver results that hours of general exercise might miss. But before we get into the 5 exercises, we need to talk about safety. Because the last thing we want is for you to get injured while trying to get stronger. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to set up your space, how to know if you're doing these movements correctly, and most importantly, how to listen to your body so you progress safely and confidently. Let's make sure you're set up for success. Before we begin the exercises, I need you to understand something important. Using support is not cheating. It's not a sign of weakness. It's intelligent progression. Every single exercise I'm about to show you can be modified with wall support or a sturdy chair. In fact, I recommend you start with support even if you think you don't need it. Here's why. When you're learning new movements, your brain needs to focus on the technique, the range of motion, and how your muscles are engaging. If you're also struggling to balance, your brain gets overwhelmed and your form suffers. Poor form means poor results and increased injury risk. So use the wall, use a chair. Give your brain the space to learn these movements correctly. As your ankle strength improves over the next few weeks, you'll naturally need less support. That's progression, and it's exactly how these exercises are designed to work. Now, let me be very clear about what you should feel and what you shouldn't feel. You should feel muscle fatigue in your ankles, calves, and feet, a slight burning sensation as you hold positions, maybe some wobbling as your balance system activates, possibly mild soreness the next day, especially in the first week. You should not feel sharp, stabbing pain in your joints, dizziness that doesn't resolve when you stop, numbness or tingling that spreads beyond your feet, pain that gets worse as you continue the movement. Here's the rule. If it feels too easy, you can increase the challenge by reducing support or increasing repetitions. If it feels too challenging, add more support, reduce your range of motion, or take more breaks between exercises. Your body will tell you what it needs. Listen to it. This is about building strength sustainably, not proving anything to anyone. Space and equipment. Let's talk about what you need to get started. First, a sturdy chair or a clear wall space. The chair should be one that doesn't roll or slide. A dining room chair or kitchen chair works perfectly. If you're using a wall, make sure there's nothing on the floor nearby that you could trip over. Second, a clear space about 3 feet in diameter around you. You need room to extend your leg and move your arms without hitting furniture. Third, optional but helpful, a yoga mat, folded towel, or non-slip rug. This gives you a comfortable surface and helps prevent your feet from sliding, especially if you have hardwood or tile floors. Now, should you wear shoes or go barefoot? Here's what the research shows. Barefoot is actually ideal for these exercises because it allows your foot muscles and proprioceptors to engage fully. However, if you have neuropathy, diabetes-related foot issues, or if barefoot feels too unstable, wear grippy socks or flexible athletic shoes with thin soles. Avoid thick-soled shoes or cushioned sneakers for these exercises. They reduce the sensory feedback your feet need to communicate with your brain. One more, keep a water bottle nearby. Even though this is only 2 minutes, you're working muscles that may not be accustomed to this kind of focused effort. Stay hydrated. Before we start moving, I want to prepare your mind as much as your body. This routine is built on one simple philosophy: start where you are. I don't care if you can only do 3 repetitions when I demonstrate 10. I don't care if you need 2 hands on the wall when I show you 1. I don't care if you need to take a break between exercises. What I care about is that you begin, because your body has an incredible ability to adapt, but it can only adapt to challenges you actually give it. Here's something critical to understand about these movements. Slow is effective. In fact, slow is more effective. When you move slowly through these exercises, you create what scientists call time under tension. Your muscles have to work harder to control the movement. Your proprioceptors have more time to send signals to your brain. Your neural pathways get reinforced more deeply. Fast, bouncy movements might feel like you're working harder, but slow, controlled movements are where the real strength gets built, especially for aging muscles and tendons. So give yourself permission to move at a pace that feels controlled and intentional. If an exercise takes you 30 seconds instead of 15, that's not a problem. That's progress. Your ankles have been underworked for years, maybe decades. We're about to wake them up. We're about to give them the specific challenge they need to become strong, stable, and responsive again. Your body is still capable of remarkable adaptation. Let's prove it together, starting right now. All right, you're set up. You understand the safety principles. You know what to feel for. Now it's time to get moving. We're going to work through 5 exercises in a countdown format, saving the most powerful ankle-strengthening movement for number 1. But we're starting with number 5, a movement that builds ankle mobility in all directions and wakes up those proprioceptive messengers we've been talking about. This one's called the ankle alphabet, and it's deceptively simple but incredibly effective. Let me show you exactly how to do it. Exercise number 5, ankle alphabet. Exercise number 5 is called the ankle alphabet, and here's why we're starting with this one. Your ankle needs to be strong in every direction, not just up and down, but side to side, diagonally, and in circular patterns. Most people's ankles only move in the same repetitive patterns day after day. Walking forward, climbing straight stairs, standing still. The ankle alphabet changes that completely. By tracing the letters of the alphabet with your toes, you're forcing your ankle to move through its complete range of motion in multiple planes. You're activating muscles that may have been dormant for years. And you're training something called cross-lateral patterns, movements that engage both sides of your brain simultaneously. This neurological activation is critical. Remember those proprioceptive messengers we talked about? This exercise wakes them up and gets them communicating clearly with your brain again. The real-world benefit? Better control on uneven surfaces. When you're walking on grass, gravel, or a bumpy sidewalk, your ankle needs to make constant micro-adjustments in all directions. This exercise trains exactly that capability. And the best part? You can do this one sitting down, which makes it perfect for starting your routine when you're still building confidence. Let's get into position. Find your sturdy chair and sit toward the front edge so your legs can extend comfortably. Sit up tall. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head toward the ceiling. This posture matters because it keeps your spine aligned and allows your hip and ankle to work together properly. Now, extend your right leg straight out in front of you. Your heel can rest lightly on the floor, or if that's uncomfortable, you can hover it just an inch or 2 off the ground. Keep a very slight bend in your knee. We're not locking it out completely. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to trace the alphabet, A through Z, using just your big toe as the pen. Imagine there's a chalkboard in front of you and you're writing letters large and clear. Let me show you with the first few letters. Start with the letter A. Point your toe and draw that diagonal line down, the crossbar. and the other diagonal. Make it big. Use your full ankle range of motion. Now B, the vertical line, then those two rounded bumps on the right side. C is a nice wide arc opening to the right. D, vertical line, big curve. You're getting the idea. A few critical technique points. First, make your letters as large as possible without causing pain. The bigger the letter, the greater the range of motion, and the more benefit you get. Think uppercase, not lowercase. Second, keep the movement coming from your ankle, not your whole leg. Your knee should stay relatively still. Your hip might move slightly, and that's fine, but the work should be happening in your ankle joint. Third, breathe naturally. Don't hold your breath. I like to inhale for 2 or 3 letters, exhale for 2 or 3 letters. Find a rhythm that feels comfortable. Fourth, move slowly and deliberately. This isn't a race. Each letter should take about 2 to 3 seconds. We're building control, not speed. Common mistakes I see: rushing through the letters, making them too small, moving from the hip instead of the ankle, or holding tension in your shoulders and neck. Stay relaxed everywhere except that working ankle. Now let's talk about how to adjust this exercise for your current level. If the full alphabet feels like too much, and for many people in the first week, it absolutely will start with just A through M. That's half the alphabet, and it's still giving your ankle an excellent workout. You can add a few more letters each week as your endurance builds. If you get through the whole alphabet and your ankle feels fatigued but not exhausted, that's perfect. Fatigue means you're training the muscles. That mild burning sensation, that's exactly what we want. Now, for those of you who find the seated version too easy after a few weeks, here's your progression. Stand next to your wall or chair for support. Place your fingertips on the wall. Lift one foot just 2 or 3 inches off the ground and trace the alphabet in the air. This standing version is significantly more challenging because now you're also training balance while your ankle works. But don't rush to this progression. Master the seated version first. Give yourself at least 2 full weeks before attempting the standing variation. One more thing you might notice: your ankle will likely feel fatigued before you finish the alphabet, especially in the first few days. You might feel shaking or cramping in your arch or along the outside of your foot. This is completely normal. Those are muscles that haven't been asked to work this way in a long time. They're waking up. The shaking is your nervous system learning to control these movements again. Within 3 to 5 sessions, you'll notice it gets smoother and easier. After you complete A through Z on your right foot, switch legs and do the same sequence with your left foot. Try to give both ankles equal work. And that's exercise number 5, the ankle alphabet. Excellent work. You've just mobilized your ankles through multiple planes of motion and activated those important proprioceptive pathways. Your ankles are awake and communicating with your brain. Now we're moving to exercise number 4, and this one shifts our focus from mobility to raw strength. We're going to build power in your calves and ankles using a movement you may have tried before, but I'm going to show you a 3-position variation that changes everything. This exercise is the fall prevention duo, ankle strength plus calf power. And there's research showing that calf strength is actually a predictor of longevity. Let me show you how to do this correctly, because the tempo and the 3 different foot positions make all the difference. Let's move to exercise number 4, calf raise variations. Exercise number 4, calf raise variations. Exercise number 4 is the calf raise variation, and this one is absolutely critical for fall prevention. Here's why. Your calf muscles and your ankle strength work together as a protective system. When you step off a curb, when you catch yourself from stumbling, when you push up from a chair, your calves and ankles are firing together to stabilize and propel you. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 2,000 adults aged 65 and older for 12 years. They measured various strength markers at the beginning of the study and tracked health outcomes over time. The finding that caught everyone's attention: calf strength was one of the strongest predictors of longevity and independence. Participants with stronger calves at the study's start were significantly more likely to still be living independently a decade later. Think about what your calves do all day. Every time you stand from sitting, your calves fire. Every step you take, your calves push you forward. Every time you reach up to a high shelf and lift onto your toes, your calves are working. Weak calves mean all those movements become harder, slower, and eventually dangerous. This single exercise protects you from the #1 injury risk for seniors: falls that result from weak push-off power and poor ankle control. But here's what makes this variation special. We're not just doing standard calf raises. We're doing them in 3 different foot positions to target different areas of ankle stability. Let me show you exactly how this works. Stand facing your wall or behind your sturdy chair. Place both hands on the wall or grip the back of the chair at about chest height. Your feet should be hip-width apart, and you should be standing close enough that your arms have just a slight bend in them. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions, and each set uses a different foot position. Position 1, toes forward. This is your baseline. Feet parallel, toes pointing straight ahead. This position works your calf muscles evenly and builds general ankle strength. Here's the movement. Rise up onto the balls of your feet as high as you can go. Imagine you're trying to reach the ceiling with the top of your head. Hold at the top for 1 full second, feel your calves squeezing, then lower back down with control. Don't just drop. This controlled descent is actually where a lot of the strength building happens. That's 1 repetition. We're doing 10 of these with toes forward. Position 2, toes pointed in. After your 10th repetition, bring your feet back down flat. Now rotate your feet so your toes point slightly inward, like you're pigeon-toed. Not extreme, just a gentle inward angle of about 15 to 20 degrees. This position shifts the work to the medial side of your ankle, the inside edge. This is the area that controls inward rolling and helps prevent the type of ankle collapse that leads to falls. Same movement. Rise up, hold for 1 second, lower with control, 10 repetitions. You might notice this position feels a bit awkward at first. That's normal. Your ankles aren't used to working from this angle, which is exactly why we're training it. Position 3, toes pointed out. After your 10th inward toe repetition, rotate your feet the opposite direction. Point your toes slightly outward like a small V shape, about 30 degrees apart. This position targets the lateral side of your ankle, the outer edge. This is critical for stability on uneven ground and for those moments when you step sideways or your weight shifts unexpectedly. 10 more repetitions. Up, hold, down, with control. This outward position often feels the most stable for people, but don't let that fool you into going faster. Keep the same controlled tempo throughout. That's 30 total calf raises, 10 in each position. Your calves should be burning by the end, and that's exactly what we want. Now, let's talk about tempo, because this is where most people miss out on the real benefit. Here's the rhythm I want you to follow. 2 seconds to rise up, 1 second hold at the top, 3 seconds to lower down. 2 up, hold, 3 down. Why does this matter so much? When you rise up slowly, you're building concentric strength, the power to push yourself up from a chair, climb stairs, or step up onto a curb. When you hold at the top, you're building isometric strength, the ability to maintain position under load. But here's the part most people skip, that slow, controlled descent. This is called eccentric loading, and research shows it's absolutely critical for aging tendons and muscles. As we age, our tendons, the connective tissue that attaches muscle to bone, become less elastic and more prone to injury. Eccentric training, that controlled lowering phase, actually strengthens tendons and makes them more resilient. It also builds what researchers call negative strength, the ability to control your body as you lower down. This is exactly what you need when you're stepping down off a curb, walking down stairs, or lowering yourself into a chair. So don't rush this. Think of it like you're controlling an elevator. Smooth, steady descent. No dropping, no bouncing at the bottom. If you find yourself getting tired and starting to drop quickly, that's your sign to take a short break. Rest for 10 seconds, shake out your legs, then continue. Better to rest briefly than to practice poor form. A few final safety points before we move on. Hand position. Keep your hands on the wall or chair the entire time. Even if you feel stable, the support is there to catch you if you wobble. Don't test your balance during this exercise. That's what exercise number 2 is for. Weight distribution. As you rise up, make sure your weight is evenly distributed across all your toes, not just your big toe or the outside edge. You should feel the pressure spread evenly across the ball of your foot. Dizziness check. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy as you rise up and down, slow down your tempo even more and make sure you're breathing steadily. Some people hold their breath during effort, and that can cause dizziness. Exhale as you rise, inhale as you lower. And one more thing, if you have any Achilles tendon issues or a history of calf strains, start with just 5 repetitions per position instead of 10. Build up gradually over 2 weeks. These muscles and tendons need time to adapt to this work. Excellent job on exercise number 4. Your calves are fired up and your ankles just got significantly stronger. You're building the push-off power that keeps you moving confidently through your day. Now we're moving to exercise number 3, and this one focuses on a part of your foot that almost everyone neglects: your toes. You might be thinking, my toes? Really? But here's what research shows. The intrinsic muscles in your feet, the small muscles that control your toes, have a direct connection to ankle stability. Strong toes create a strong foundation, and a strong foundation means better balance. There's actually a study showing that toe strength correlates with balance, performance, just as much as ankle strength does. Your toes are the roots of the tree. Strong roots, stable tree. This next exercise is going to feel strange at first because most people have never consciously controlled these muscles. But stick with me. This one makes a remarkable difference in just a few weeks. Let's learn exercise number 3, toe curls and spreads. Exercise number 3, toe curls and spreads. Exercise number 3 is toe curls and spreads. And I know what some of you might be thinking. We're working on toes now? I thought this was about ankles. Stay with me, because this is one of the most important exercises in the entire routine. Your feet contain 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Most of those muscles are intrinsic foot muscles, small, deep muscles that live entirely within your foot and control the fine movements of your toes and arch. Here's what happens to most people as they age. These intrinsic muscles essentially go to sleep. We wear cushioned shoes that do the work for us. We walk on flat, even surfaces. We never ask our toes to grip, spread, or actively engage. And when those muscles weaken, your entire foundation becomes unstable. A study from the Journal of Foot and Ankle Research tested the toe strength of adults over 60 and compared it to their performance on balance tests. The correlation was remarkable. Participants with stronger toe flexion and spreading ability scored significantly higher on single-leg balance tests and walking stability assessments. The researchers' conclusion? Toe strength is just as important as ankle strength for maintaining balance and preventing falls. Think about it this way. Your toes are like the roots of a tree. If the roots are weak and shallow, even a strong trunk, your ankle won't keep the tree stable in the wind. Strong roots, stable tree. Strong toes, stable ankles. This exercise wakes up those dormant muscles and rebuilds the foundation your entire balance system depends on. For this exercise, you can stay seated in your chair or stand with light hand support on the wall, whichever feels more comfortable. I'm going to demonstrate seated, but the movement is exactly the same either way. Sit up tall, both feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. If you're barefoot, perfect. If you're wearing socks or thin shoes, that's fine too. We're going to do 2 distinct movements, curls and spreads. Toe curls first. The curl, keeping your heels planted on the ground, curl all 10 toes downward as if you're trying to grip the floor. Imagine you're trying to pick up a towel with your toes, or grip a pencil. Really squeeze. You should feel muscles engaging in the arch of your foot and along the bottom of your toes. Hold this curl for a full 5 seconds. Count in your head. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Then release and relax your toes completely. Toe spreads now. The spread. This one is harder for most people because we rarely use these muscles. Keeping your heels on the ground, try to spread all your toes apart from each other. Fan them out like you're opening your hand wide. Your big toe goes one direction, your pinky toe the other direction, and the middle toes spread apart as much as possible. Don't worry if nothing happens at first. For many people, their toes have been crammed in shoes for decades and literally don't know how to spread independently. Do your best. Even if you can only move them a tiny bit, you're activating the neural pathways. It will get easier. Hold the spread for 5 seconds. Really focus on creating space between each toe. Then relax completely. That's 1 full repetition curl and spread. We're going to do 8 to 10 repetitions total. Breathing coordination. Here's how to. Coordinate your breathing. Inhale during the rest phase. As you curl, exhale slowly through the 5-second hold. Relax and inhale again. As you spread, exhale slowly through that 5-second hold. This breathing pattern keeps you from holding your breath and helps you stay relaxed through the effort. Now, let me prepare you for what you're going to experience with this exercise. Most people have never consciously moved these muscles in their entire adult life. Your toes move when you walk, yes, but that's reflexive, automatic. You're not consciously controlling them. What we're doing here is different. We're asking your brain to send very specific signals to very specific muscles, and your brain might not have clear pathways to those muscles anymore. So here's what's normal in the first few days. You might curl your toes and feel like nothing's happening, or you might spread them and see barely any movement at all. You might feel cramping in your arch. You might notice some toes move while others stay completely still. All of this is completely expected. Here's what's happening. Your nervous system is rebuilding the mind-muscle connection. Scientists call call this neuromuscular re-education. Your brain is literally creating and strengthening neural pathways to muscles it hasn't consciously controlled in years. Give it 3 to 5 days of consistent practice, and you'll notice a dramatic difference. Movements that felt impossible on day one will start happening. Toes that wouldn't spread will begin to fan out. The cramping will subside as the muscles get stronger. And here's the real-world payoff. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll notice better proprioception when you're walking on different surfaces. Carpet, grass, gravel. Your feet will feel more connected to the ground, more responsive, more stable. Your brain will be getting clearer information from your feet, and your balance will improve as a result. This strange little exercise creates profound changes. Trust the process. Excellent work on exercise number 3. You've just activated muscles most people don't even know they have. Now we're moving into the power exercises number 2 and number 1, and these are where everything we've done so far comes together. Exercise number 2 is a single leg balance progression, and this one is not just an ankle exercise, it's a full system integration. Your ankles, your toes, your core, your brain, everything has to work together. And here's why this matters so much. There's research showing that if you can stand on one leg for 20 seconds, you have a 60% lower risk of mortality over the next decade compared to someone who can't. 20 seconds. That's it. That's the threshold that predicts independence, health span, and longevity. This exercise trains exactly that capability, and I'm going to give you a 4-stage progression so you can start where you are and build systematically toward that 20-second goal. Let's move to exercise number 2, single leg balance progression. Exercise number 2, single leg balance progression. We've arrived at exercise number 2, the single leg balance progression. This is where everything we've been building, ankle mobility, calf strength, toe activation, comes together into one integrated movement. Balance isn't just about your ankles, it's about your entire neuromuscular system working in harmony. Your eyes send visual information to your brain. Your inner ear tracks your position in space. Your ankles and feet send proprioceptive signals about where your body is. And your brain coordinates all of this in real time to keep you upright. Single leg standing is the ultimate test of this system. And here's the research that should get your attention. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine tested over 1,700 adults aged 51 to 75. They asked participants to stand on one leg for up to 20 seconds. Here's what they found. Those who could maintain single leg balance for at least 20 seconds had a 60% lower risk of death from any cause over the following 10 years compared to those who couldn't. 60% lower mortality risk from a 20-second balance test. Why is this correlation so strong? Because balance ability reflects the health of multiple body systems simultaneously. Your nervous system, your muscular system, your sensory systems, they all have to be functioning well for you to balance on one leg. It's a window into your overall functional health and your ability to stay independent as you age. This exercise isn't just training your ankles, it's training the exact capability that predicts whether you'll be walking confidently at 85 or struggling with mobility aids at 75. Let me show you how to build this skill safely and systematically. Stand next to your wall or behind your chair, whichever gives you the most confidence. We're going to work through 4 stages, and I want you to be honest with yourself about which stage matches your current ability. There is no shame in starting at stage 1. In fact, starting at the right level is how you build strength safely and avoid injury. Stage 1, 2 hands on wall, foot lift place. Both hands flat on the wall at shoulder height, arms slightly bent. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Keep that right knee soft, don't lock it. Now lift your left foot just 2 to 3 inches off the ground. That's it. Not high, just a small lift. Your goal is to hold this position for 20 seconds without putting your left foot down. Keep your eyes looking straight ahead at the wall, not down at your feet. This helps your balance system work more effectively. As you hold, you'll feel your right ankle making tiny adjustments. You might wobble. You might feel muscles firing in your hip and core. This is exactly what we want. These micro corrections are the training. After 20 seconds, lower your left foot, shake out both legs for a moment, then switch sides. Lift your right foot and balance on your left for 20 seconds. If you can't make it to 20 seconds yet, that's completely fine. Hold for as long as you can, rest, and try again. Your goal is to work up to 20 seconds over the next week or 2. Stage 2. One hand on wall once you can comfortably hold stage 1 for 20 seconds on each leg. You're ready for stage 2. Same setup, but now you're only using one hand on the wall. Place your right hand on the wall. Lift your left foot 2 to 3 inches off the ground. Balance for 20 seconds. This is significantly more challenging because you've reduced your support by 50%. Your ankle and core have to work much harder to keep you stable. After 20 seconds on your left foot, switch everything. Left hand on the wall, right foot lifted, 20 seconds. Stage 3. Fingertips. Only Stage 3 removes almost all support. Place just your fingertips lightly on the wall, so light that if someone looked at you, they wouldn't be sure if you were actually touching it or not. This is emergency balance only. Your fingertips are there to catch you if you start to fall, but they're not providing active support. Lift one foot, hold for 20 seconds. Switch sides. At this stage, you'll really feel your ankle working. It's firing constantly, making hundreds of tiny adjustments per second. You might see your ankle wobbling visibly. That's perfect. That wobbling is your proprioceptive system getting trained. Stage 4. No support. This is the goal we're working toward, but please don't rush to get here. Only attempt Stage 4 after you've mastered Stage 3 for at least 2 full weeks. Stand away from the wall, arms relaxed at your sides, or held out slightly for balance if needed. Lift one foot, hold for 20 seconds. Switch sides. If you can do this consistently, you've reached the benchmark that correlates with longevity and independence. Congratulations, you're in the top tier of functional fitness for your age group. Let me explain what's happening in your body right now as you balance on one leg. Your ankle is sending approximately 100 proprioceptive signals per second to your brain. Those signals are saying, we're tilting slightly forward, now we're shifting left, now there's more pressure on the outside edge. Your brain receives all these signals, processes them instantly, and sends commands back to your muscles. Contract the outside of the ankle, now relax it, now engage the calf, now the toe flexors. This constant back and forth communication is called a feedback loop, and it's the foundation of balance. Here's why those small wobbles you're experiencing are actually beneficial. Every time you wobble and correct yourself, you're training this feedback loop to respond faster and more accurately. Think of it like a conversation. The first time two people meet, their conversation might be slow and awkward, but the more they talk, the smoother and quicker the exchange becomes. That's what's happening between your brain and your ankles right now. They're learning to communicate more efficiently. And with each practice session, that conversation gets faster, clearer, and more automatic. The wobbling means the system is working. It means you're training, not failing. Let me give you realistic timelines for progressing through these stages. Week 1. Your goal is to master Stage 1. 2. Hands on the wall, 20 seconds per leg. If you can already do this, fantastic, move to Stage 2 in Week 2. Weeks 3 to 4. You should be working on Stage 2. One hand on the wall, building toward 20 seconds. Don't rush this. It's okay if it takes you the full month to feel confident here. Weeks 6 to 8. Attempt Stage 3. Fingertips only, 20 seconds per leg. This is advanced work. Be patient with yourself. Weeks 10 to 12. If everything has gone smoothly and you feel strong and confident, you can try Stage 4 no support. But here's what I need you to understand. There is no rush. This isn't a race. Some of you will move through these stages faster. Some will take longer. Neither is better or worse. What matters is consistency. Practicing this exercise daily, at whatever stage matches your current ability, is what creates the adaptation. Your nervous system needs repetition to build those neural pathways. Your muscles need consistent challenge to get stronger. Your balance system needs daily practice to improve. Show up every day. Start where you are. Progress when you're ready. That's how you build sustainable, protective strength that lasts. Outstanding work on exercise number 2. You just trained your entire balance system and strengthened the exact capability that predicts independence in your later years. Now we've arrived at exercise number 1, the most powerful ankle strengthening movement in this entire routine. I saved this one for last because it delivers the highest injury prevention benefit of any exercise we're doing today. The research on this movement is stunning. A study tracking adults over 65 found that those who performed controlled ankle rolls regularly reduced their ankle sprain risk by 73% compared to those who didn't. 73%. This single exercise strengthens the exact mechanism that prevents most falls. It trains the muscles that stabilize your ankle when you step on uneven ground, when you misstep off a curb, when you stumble over an unexpected obstacle. It's called controlled ankle rolls, and I'm going to show you both the seated version and the advanced standing progression. Let's finish strong with exercise number 1. Exercise number 1, controlled ankle rolls. We've arrived at exercise number 1, controlled ankle rolls. This is the movement I saved for last because it delivers the highest injury prevention benefit of anything we've done today. Most ankle sprains and the falls that result from them happen the same. You step on uneven ground, your ankle rolls unexpectedly to the side, and the muscles that should catch and stabilize you aren't strong enough or responsive enough to prevent the injury. A sprained ankle might seem like a minor issue when you're younger, but after 60, it's a serious event. Recovery takes longer, confidence drops, fear of falling increases, activity decreases, and the cycle of decline accelerates. Here's the research that convinced me this exercise belongs in every senior's routine. A study published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy followed adults over 65 who had experienced at least one ankle sprain in the previous 5 years. Half the group performed controlled ankle rolling, exercises 3 times per week. The control group continued their normal activities. After 1 year, the ankle rolling group reduced their ankle sprain risk by 73% compared to the control group. 73% reduction in one of the most common injuries that leads to falls, hospitalization, and loss of independence. This exercise works because it strengthens your peroneal muscles, the muscles on the outside of your lower leg that control side-to-side ankle movement. These are the exact muscles that fire to catch you when your ankle wants to roll inward unexpectedly. We're going to train them deliberately, slowly, and with complete control so that when real life demands a quick response, your ankles are ready. Let me show you how to do this safely. Start in your sturdy chair, sitting toward the front edge with good posture. Sit up tall, shoulders relaxed. Extend your right leg out in front of you, heel resting lightly on the floor or hovering just above it. Keep a slight bend in your knee. Here's the movement. You're going to slowly roll your ankle from the inside edge of your foot to the outside edge, then back again. Let me break this down step by step. The inward roll. Inverse start with your foot in a neutral position, toes pointing forward. Now, slowly tip your foot so the inside edge lifts and the outside edge presses toward the floor. This is called inversion. Imagine you're trying to show someone the sole of your foot on the inside. Your little toe side stays down. Your big toe side lifts up. Roll as far as you can without pain. For some people, that might be just a few degrees. For others, you'll get significant range. Both are fine. Work within your comfortable range. Hold this inward position for 2 full seconds. Feel the muscles on the outside of your shin and ankle working to control this position, the outward roll. Now reverse it. Slowly roll your foot the opposite direction. The inside edge presses down. The outside edge lifts up. This is called eversion. Imagine showing someone the sole of your foot on the outside. Your big toe side stays down. Your little toe side lifts up. Again, roll as far as comfortable without pain. Hold for 2 full seconds. The complete cycle, that's 1 complete cycle. Inward roll, pause. Outward roll, pause. The key is that 5-second total, 2 seconds in, 1 second transition, 2 seconds out. Slow and controlled. This isn't a fast rocking motion. You're deliberately strengthening through the full range. We're going to do 10 complete cycles on your right ankle. That's 10 inward rolls and 10 outward rolls. Then switch to your left leg and repeat the same sequence. Technique reminders keep the movement isolated to your ankle. Your knee should stay relatively still. Don't swing your whole leg. That's cheating the ankle out of the work. If you feel cramping in your arch or along the outside of your foot, that's normal. Those muscles are working hard. Pause, flex, and point your foot a few times to release the cramp. Then continue. Breathe naturally throughout. Don't hold your breath. And here's critical. If you feel any sharp, stabbing pain, not muscle fatigue, but joint pain, reduce your range of motion. You should feel muscles working, possibly burning. You should not feel pain in the bones or joint itself. Now, for those of you who have been doing the seated version for at least 2 full weeks and feel very confident, there's a standing progression. This is significantly more advanced, so please don't rush to this variation. Stand facing your wall with both hands placed flat on the wall for support. Your feet should be hip-width apart. Shift all your weight onto your right foot. Lift your left foot just an inch or 2 off the ground. Now, while balancing on your right foot, slowly shift your weight from the inside edge of your right foot to the outside edge. You're essentially doing the same rolling motion, but now you're weight-bearing. Inside edge, you'll feel your weight shift toward your big toe and the arch will engage. Outside edge, you'll feel your weight shift toward your little toe and the outside of your foot. Rock slowly from inside to outside, taking a full 5 seconds for each complete shift. Do 10 complete weight shifts on your right foot, then switch to your left. Keep your hands on the wall the entire time. This is not a balance exercise. This is ankle strengthening with balance as a secondary challenge. Only attempt this standing version if you can confidently perform stage 2 or 3 of the single leg balance exercise we did earlier. If you're still working on stage 1 balance, stick with the seated ankle rolls for now. They're extremely effective, even without the standing component. Let me explain exactly why this exercise is so protective. When you step on a rock, or your foot lands unevenly on a curb, or you stumble over a crack in the sidewalk, your ankle wants to roll inward suddenly and forcefully. This inward rolling is what causes the majority of ankle sprains. What stops that dangerous roll? Your peroneal muscles, specifically the peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. These muscles run down the outside of your lower leg and attach to the outside of your foot. When they're strong and responsive, they fire instantly to pull your foot back to neutral, preventing the sprain. When they're weak or slow to respond, your ankle rolls too far, ligaments stretch or tear, and you've got an injury that can take months to heal, especially at our age. This exercise trains those exact muscles through the exact range of motion they need to protect you. You're teaching them to control the inward roll, to control the outward roll, and to transition smoothly between the two. You're building strength at the end ranges where injuries happen, and you're training the neural pathways so that when you step on something unexpected, your peroneals fire automatically without you having to think about it. That split-second automatic response is what prevents falls. That's why this exercise is number one. That's why it's the most powerful movement in this routine. You're literally training the exact mechanism that keeps you upright when life throws you off balance. Incredible work. You've just completed all 5 exercises in this ankle-strengthening routine. You've mobilized your ankles through the alphabet. You've built power with calf raises in 3 positions. You've activated your toe muscles. You've challenged your balance system. And you've strengthened the exact muscles that prevent ankle sprains and falls. Your ankles are stronger right now than they were 15 minutes ago. And if you come back and do this routine tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, you're going to experience a transformation in your stability, your confidence, and your independence. But I want to make sure you know exactly how to integrate this routine into your daily life, what to expect in the coming weeks, and how this works alongside your walking or other activities you're already doing. Let's talk about your long-term strategy, what progress looks like week by week, and how to make this routine a permanent part of your life. Integration and long-term strategy, the 2-minute daily protocol. Let's talk about how to make this routine a sustainable, permanent part of your daily life. Here's the beautiful thing. You've just learned 5 exercises that, when performed back to back, take approximately 2 minutes to complete. 2 minutes that could be the difference between confident independence at 85 and struggling with mobility at 72. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is, what 2-minute window in your day makes the most sense? Here's what I recommend based on what works for most people. Morning option. Do this routine while your coffee is brewing or right after you brush your teeth. Your ankles are typically a bit stiff in the morning, so this wakes them up and prepares them for the day ahead. Many people find that doing these exercises in the morning improves their stability and confidence throughout the entire day. Evening option. Do this routine during a TV commercial break or right before bed. Your body is warmed up from the day's activities, so the movements might feel easier and you might achieve slightly greater range of motion. Some people also find that the focused, controlled movements help them wind down mentally before sleep. Research shows benefits with either timing. What matters most is consistency, not perfection. Pick a time that connects to an existing habit, something you already do every single day. That anchor habit makes it much easier to remember and maintain the routine. And here's a tip that helps many people. Keep your chair or the space near your wall clear and ready. If you have to move furniture every time you want to exercise, you're creating friction that makes it easier to skip. Make it effortless to start. 2 minutes, 1 dedicated space, same time every day. That's the formula for turning this into an automatic habit that protects you for life. Now let me give you realistic expectations for what you'll experience over the coming weeks and months. Week 1. You'll notice better ankle awareness. You might feel muscles you didn't know existed. Some mild soreness is completely normal. That's your body adapting. Your ankles might feel a bit tired after the routine, which is a good sign that you're working muscles that needed attention. Weeks 2 to 3. The exercises will start feeling more natural. The toe spreads that felt impossible on day 1 will start happening. Your balance will feel noticeably more stable during the single leg stands. You might catch yourself feeling more confident on stairs or uneven ground without consciously thinking about it. Weeks 4 to 6. This is where you'll see measurable strength gains. You might find yourself rising from a chair more easily. Walking on gravel or grass won't feel as precarious. You may naturally naturally progress to more advanced versions of the exercises, less wall support, greater range of motion, longer hold times. Weeks 8 to 12, you'll experience genuine functional improvements in daily life. Activities that had become difficult, stepping onto a curb, reaching overhead while standing, walking on a boat, dock, or pier, will feel significantly easier and safer. Your confidence in your own stability will increase, which often leads to moving more throughout the day, which creates a positive upward spiral. The timeline varies from person to person. Some people notice changes faster, some slower. Age, starting fitness level, consistency, all of these factors play a role, but the pattern is consistent. Show up daily, work at your level, and your body will adapt. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Let me address something several of you might be wondering. Does this routine replace walking? Absolutely not. This completes walking. It doesn't replace it. Walking is still one of the best things you can do for your cardiovascular health, your mood, your bone density, and your overall fitness. Keep walking. Enjoy walking. Walking is wonderful, but walking alone doesn't build the specific ankle strength and multi-directional stability we've been training today. Here's the weekly structure I recommend for optimal results. Daily. This 2-minute ankle routine, every single day, no exceptions. Even on days when you're tired, traveling, or not feeling 100%, these 2 minutes are non-negotiable. 3 to 4 times per week. Walking sessions of 20 to 30 minutes. These can be outdoor walks, treadmill walks, mall walking, whatever you enjoy and will actually do consistently. Optional 1 to 2 times per week. Any other activities you love: swimming, tai chi, gentle yoga, gardening, dancing, movement that brings you joy and keeps you engaged with life. This combination gives you the specificity of targeted ankle training plus the overall health benefits of regular aerobic activity. And here's something interesting. Many people find that after 4 to 6 weeks of doing this ankle routine, their walking feels different, more stable, more confident, more efficient. Why? Because your ankles are now strong enough to do their job properly. They're stabilizing you with every step. They're absorbing impact better. They're propelling you forward more powerfully. The two practices work synergistically. Walking keeps you moving. The ankle routine makes that movement safer, stronger, and more sustainable for decades to come. Finally, let's talk about how to track your progress. Forget about complicated charts or fitness apps. The best progress markers for this routine are the ones that show up in your real life. Here are the simple self-tests I want you to pay attention to. The single leg stand test. Once a week, maybe every Sunday morning time, how long you can stand on each leg without support. Write it down or just remember it mentally. Watch that number climb from 5 seconds to 10, from 10 to 15, from 15 to 20, and beyond. The chair rise test. Can you stand up from a dining room chair without using your hands? Without rocking forward multiple times? This is a functional marker of lower body strength that directly correlates with independence. The uneven ground test. How do you feel walking on grass, on gravel, on a slightly sloped surface? Does it feel scary and unstable or confident and controlled? Notice the shift over time. But honestly, the best progress tracking happens in moments you're not even thinking about exercise. It's the moment you step off a curb and your ankle adjusts instantly without you wobbling. It's carrying groceries in both hands and not feeling unsteady. It's reaching up to get something from a high cabinet and not grabbing the counter for support. It's the absence of fear, the presence of confidence, the quiet certainty that your body will catch you if you stumble. That's the progress that matters. Not numbers on a chart, but the quality of your daily life. Track your progress in real-life moments. That's where the transformation shows up. You now have everything you need: the exercises, the science behind them, the progression path, the integration strategy. But before we finish, I want to leave you with something more important than any technique or timeline. I want to talk about the choice in front of you right now and what it means for your future. Let's close this out with the truth about what you're really building here. Here's what I need you to understand. Right now, at this exact moment, you're standing at a fork in the road. Two paths stretch out in front of you, and the choice you make today will determine which path you walk. Path 1, you close this video, you go back to your day, and nothing changes. Your ankles stay exactly as they are, maybe functional for now, but gradually weakening, slowly becoming less responsive, quietly stealing your confidence one small moment at a time. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're reaching for a walker or leaning heavily on a cane, not because you're old, but because your foundation was never strengthened. Path 2, you start today, 2 minutes, tomorrow, another 2 minutes, the day after that, the same, and your ankles begin to transform. They get stronger, more stable, more responsive. And 5 years from now, you're walking confidently at 75, at 80, at 85, steady on your feet, independent in your home, free to move through your life without fear. The difference between those two futures is not age. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's the choice to give your ankles the attention they deserve, starting right now. Your ankles are the foundation of everything. We just gave them the specific work they've been missing. We trained them in ways walking never could. We strengthened the exact mechanisms that prevent falls and preserve independence. Every single repetition you do is an investment in your future self. Every time you curl your toes, every time you balance on one leg, every time you control that ankle roll, you're building a body that will serve you well into your later decades. This isn't vanity. This isn't about appearance. This is about freedom. The freedom to walk into any room without fear. The freedom to travel, to garden, to play with grandchildren, to live fully without your body limiting what's possible. You're not too old for this. You're not starting too late. Your body is still remarkably capable of adaptation. We just proved that together over the last 30 minutes. Now I want to hear from you, because this channel is more than just information. It's a community of people committed to aging strong together. Drop a comment right now and tell us, what daily activity has become harder for you? Is it stairs? Getting out of the car? Walking on uneven ground? Standing from a low chair? Share it honestly, because when you name it, you're acknowledging it. And when you acknowledge it, you can work on it. And also, tell us your age and where you're watching from. Whether you're 62 inches Florida or 78 inches Oregon, you're part of this community. Let us know you're here. We read every single comment. We reply to as many as we possibly can. And when you share your journey, your struggles, your progress, your victories, you inspire someone else who's watching and wondering if they can do this too. You absolutely can. And we're here to support you every step of the way. So here's what I want you to do. Start today. Start right where you are. If you can only do half the repetitions, that's perfect. If you need 2 hands on the wall for everything, that's exactly right. If your toes barely move during the spreads, that's completely normal. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. It's never too late to build strength that matters. Never too late to reclaim stability. Never too late to invest in a future where you're walking strong instead of struggling to move. If you found value in this video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future routines. We're building a library of science-backed practices designed specifically to keep you independent, strong, and confident as you age. And if you know someone, a spouse, a parent, a friend who struggles with balance or worries about falling, share this video with them. This information could genuinely change their life. Your body is still capable of remarkable adaptation. We just spent 35 minutes proving that together. Now it's up to you to show up tomorrow and the day after that and turn these 2 minutes into a lifetime habit that protects you for decades to come. Start where you are. Trust the process. Your future self is counting on the choice you make today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong.